What's up guys, we're gonna 𝗩𝗦𝗧𝗦. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make some UK drill. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started with the melody. All right, so now we're gonna start with our melody first. So typically with this stuff, you want to start with realistic instruments and then process them so they don't sound like real instruments. And that's kind of how you can get that vibe that you want. So BPM, I got 155, just somewhere in the middle. 150 to 160 is great range, but again, you can use whatever BPM you want. Doesn't really matter. So this is the piano we have. Okay, you can use any piano. You do not have to use what I use just because you're watching the video. You can use whatever piano that you have. It can literally be FL keys. So I'm gonna make this simple. So you could just place your note somewhere and then you can go up a fifth. So go up a fifth, you just go up 7. And let me make this a little bit larger. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And that's a fifth. Y'all should know that already. So in order to get dark stuff, all you have to do is just fill in these notes. And then any combination of these notes, you can make a dark chord. So if you want a suspended fourth, you can grab that out. If you want a suspended second, and I'm just going with the dark ones. And then if you want a minor, you do that. Now, if you want a major, you could throw that in, but we don't want the major here. Okay. So we just want these. And you can also go up to stamps to find, you know, the fifth and all these chords to go along with it. So we're going to be using these, all right? And that's all you really need to know. All right, if you want to make dark beats and stuff, that's all you need to know. Quite literally, that is all you need to know. You don't need to know anything else, because the melody is just going to be this. You control D it, and you just move it around. That's pretty much the melody if you break it down. So let's rearrange these. I think I'm going to start off simple here, like so. And I'm going to shrink this down. And let's copy this over. And then now we could just add a note. Like I said, we could just add, since we're in a G sharp minor, I want to just take these like so, pull them up, shift D it, and then we can use these as a little melody. So I'm gonna use a 1/3 here. And we're just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna pull these around. Okay, and I like to do the melody part a little bit more real time. Take my time, just so everyone can kind of follow along, no matter the you know, skill level. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna copy this over, and we're gonna add some bass notes as well. And then and now over here we can add like some more notes, right? So if you want to see, and I'm gonna take this note right here, pull that up, and we're gonna start making something with this. Let's skip a note, and then we will take this, pull that up. And if you notice, I'm not even listening to the melody because I know it's gonna work. Like, I'm not even gonna change nothing after this because I know it's gonna work, because it's all the same notes. So why wouldn't it work, right? All right, let's listen from here. See, told you. So now we're gonna add our bass notes in here. So we're gonna take this G sharp, move this down twice, and then we could just control B this all the way. And then I want to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go up 1. It's as simple as that. So that is the melody. That was the longest part of the video. I know it took a long time. But what we're going to do now is layer and then add a counter, and then we'll move on to the drums. Now moving on to the rest of our sounds, everything else will be a breeze from here. So we're just gonna copy. Okay, we're gonna be lazy because lazy gets stuff done faster. We're gonna copy that down, and this is the sound we have. Okay, it's just a woodwind. It's just like a flute. Simple as that. And the purpose of this is to add more energy. But if you notice, I'm still staying consistent. These are all realistic sounds. Okay, I'm not saying you can't use a lead or any synth sound. I'm just saying if you want a formula that works every single time you want to make a drill beat or just any beat, any dark beat, this is the formula. And then here we have, what is this? We have a string, a violin, and then we're just gonna add just something simple in here. So I'm gonna just listen to it, put the metronome on, and just see where I want to place this. All right, so that is the melody. It's sounding real ugly and dry right now. So what we need to do is process it. So that is my advice to beginners or even intermediate producers. Stop making dry beats, okay? Process your sounds, make them sound nice, throw some effects on them, see what works. So that's what I'm gonna do real quick, and I'm gonna come back and kind of explain what I added on top. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the effects. So we'll start with the piano. Now I'm gonna warn you, some of this stuff I can't necessarily show you the details and stuff yet, or pack they're from yet, because it's a part of a pack or something I'm building. So I'm sure y'all understand that, right? But I boosted the highs, and then I added Portal on the piano. So this is my own custom preset here. You can kind of, well, there's nothing you can really see, but this is the preset, and once this is released, you'll see all of the settings. But until then, I can't really show you, but this is what it does. It's pretty much like a custom halftime. And I'll play this solo. And that's pretty much what it does, okay? And I know some people be like, oh, why don't you show it? Look, I only like showing you what I actually use. I'm not about to sit here and make up some fake stock plugins that I don't use, okay? And be like, oh, this is so special, this is amazing, you should use this. And then you go and add those plugins on your beat and it sounds garbage. I'm telling you what I use, okay, on an everyday basis. So that's the piano. Now, if you don't have this, which you don't, because this is my own preset, right? You can use this, which is, I'm very open about this. This is pretty much, it's not the same, but it's like something. So this is for the flute, shaper box. This is just a halftime. You can use Gross Beat for this as well. And then a reverse. So halftime and the reverse effect in this order. And then just an EQ. You always want to add an EQ. Do not forget the EQ. And then the rest of this is just for like pump or like bounce, as you can see. How do we get to it? So it's like, let's go ahead and add it. And then a super massive just to add some delay. Okay, and then for the violin, just a lesser version of this. Okay, I know we have an EQ. Okay, super massive custom preset. You can copy this, I don't really care. Doesn't really matter. And then shaper box, just the same pump for the violin. And then this is what they all sound like together. And then I put these in a bus and just added a EQ on it to make it a little bit shinier. Okay, and then here, I know it looks crazy, but pretty much if you right click, you can go to stereo placement and you go to side, and then you can boost the highs so they're not in the mono section. That's pretty much all I did there, just boosting some of the highs, and that's it. So I know that took a long time. I wanted that to be like a minute long, but oh well, I'm just trying to show you what it is. So that is the entire melody part. Now let's go ahead and do the beat. All right, so let's go ahead and do the low end. So we're gonna do the kick and the 808. So this is pretty simple. You can kind of like pull some of these notes up an octave. You can use slides, stuff like that. I'm gonna try to keep this fairly fast, but you know, if it takes a while, then it takes a while, because it's just making music, right? And then I kind of like to play around with some of these. And then let's add one of these in here. I'm gonna try to keep this fairly large, but I don't want to move around too much because I want it to be consistent as I'm making it. And then we're gonna follow our bass line again. Oops. So we're gonna take this double it, if it'll let me, and pretty much take this and pull this up like so. And then we can continue this out like that and just kind of continue that melody. Okay, so we could do some little slides here. So let's do some slides right here. And I'm gonna just bring them in, and I'm gonna copy this right here. I'm gonna just pull them back so they're like this. That's pretty much how you can do that there. Let's add and then what can we add here? Let's add I'm gonna drag these over. Shift D that. And I'm keeping this real simple because this could take a very long time. So I want to try to keep this as short as I can while getting the point across without it sounding garbage. Okay, I think that's good for what I want, but if you want to add more, you can. Now for the kick, we could just throw something simple. You don't have to play the kick every time. I'm gonna shift D that kick. I'm gonna copy this over and then we can just add like some other stuff in there. Okay, so that's the low end. We're gonna go ahead and do the drums to knock those out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do our main drums. So I went ahead and pulled this hi-hat up so we can kind of do them in order. So for our snare, and I'm only doing this because some people may not know the rhythms for drill. So typically it will look something like this, right? Which works when you have the kick how I have it. But typically what you would do if we go on the piano roll is just move this over like so. So this is how it'll look in the channel rack now. So we go from here to here, and that'll just repeat pretty much over and over. And you can add other stuff in. So like if you want to, let me see, you could maybe at the end we could do something. Let's do like play around with the velocity a bit, and then we can like throw on our other snare and rim in there just to kind of like give it some. Okay, and then you can add other sounds as well, but I want the core. I want you to know how to make the core, because once you have this the hi-hats and the snare built, you can add in sounds, gunshots, whatever you want to add. So for the hi-hats, this is the pattern. It's pretty much this on repeat right here. Let's play back. That's pretty much it. And then you can add stuff in between, chops. You can kind of play around with these, and I like to kind of make the first one a little bit louder, and then kind of add some stuff in there. And then just repeat that over. But I'm gonna go into the channel rack and I'm gonna right click, set the next bar, and that's pretty much the main drums. So what we're gonna do now is just add our rim and our snare in, and we'll be done. So next we're gonna do our like perks, our snare, like our mini snare, counter snare, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna do our rim, and let's go in here and we're just gonna kind of play off of the drums that we have. You don't need to be too creative with this, honestly. You could just kind of throw them in. We can kind of just build this up. And we could just copy it over, make sure it's in the same spots, and then maybe do something like that. And then we're gonna right click, set to next bar, or wait, is that right? Yeah, okay. And then we're gonna go to our snare, same exact thing, just throw it in where we feel it should go. I'm gonna chop that, and I'm gonna pull these like so. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna pull these up slightly, and then we're just gonna do the same thing, and then we can play the beat all together. Okay, and of course you can add other stuff, like, you know, you can mix it more, but for the video we don't need to focus on that. We just want to focus on the notes and the melody. So let's play everything all together one time through. Alright, and that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.